Bhavana Shadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hadi Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jasodhanandana Brajachanarandana Jasodhanandana Brajachanarandana Jamuna Tiravana Chadim Jamuna Tiravana Chadim Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hadi Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajagatarja Astatarasatasi Simad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Gaur Premanandi. So chanting with quality. I bet I see some older generation people here. You've probably been chanting for many years as I have. How about you, this young boy? Do you chant every day, Hare Krishna mantra? Kind of? Sometimes? Good. Me too. The teaching that Lord Chaitanya came to give is the teaching of devotional service that begins. The process of devotional service begins with the process of hearing and chanting. Shravanam, Kirtanam. Again, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Shravanam, Kirtanam. Something happens. The heart becomes cleansed, and the eternal relation that is already with us but forgotten becomes awakened. That's smaranam. Just from hearing and chanting. It's not imposing something from the outside, it's something that's inside. Something that's inside, like a diamond that's covered with mud, becomes cleansed and then it sparkles and it shines naturally. Similarly, Krishna prema is already within, but it's covered by too much forgetfulness. And Shravanam Kirtanam, this hearing and chanting, enables one to gradually remember what we've forgotten, who we are, spirit soul, it's who we really are. We forgot. We thought we're the covering, but we're not the covering. And then who we really are has an eternal relationship with the supreme source of everything, that's Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the Karana of all Karanas. the cause of all causes, the source of everything, Krishna. Ishvara Parama, Krishna. So the process of restoring that forgotten relationship with Krishna is hearing and chanting. And the topic for this evening is something that we all should aspire for, and maybe we're not there yet. Chanting with quality. It's a nice topic, isn't it? He agrees. Okay. So how do you learn about something that you don't know about yet? You learn from a teacher. It's a Vedic process. And the teaching process is sound. There's the source of the sound. There's the sound, and there's the reception of the sound by the process of hearing. And as that gradually progresses, the taste for chanting of the holy name also begins. So here's somebody's hands, and they're holding beads, and they're learning how to chant. Here's a little glimpse from Rupa Goswami, the little circle over here. That's an image of Rupa Goswami writing. And one of his writings is a very nice book of Krishna's pastimes. And one of the very nice books of Krishna's pastimes is Vidagdha Madhava. Vidagdha Madhava. It's a very nice book. And in the introduction section of verses in Vidagdha Madhava, he speaks about the sweetness, notice the jar of honey, the sweetness of the holy name. He writes, there's four parts. The Mahima, the glories of the holy name. I do not know how much nectar the two syllables Krishna have produced. So it's already identified. There's nectar in that name. Next, when the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths, not enough mouths, because it's so sweet. When the name enters, this is part 3, when the name enters the holes of the ears, we then desire many millions of ears. That would look funny. But it's a concept of the eagerness to hear. Millions of ears, not enough to hear that sweet sound. And then finally, when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind. And therefore, all the senses become inert. That's called yoga. Controlling of the mind and senses. Small thing, right? Practicing yoga to control the mind and senses. This is Rupa Goswami's formula given to him and to all of us by Lord Chaitanya. The best practice of yoga is mantra yoga, the chanting of these very sweet names of Krishna. This is a glimpse into quality chanting. Here's our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada on a morning walk in Nairobi. And during this morning walk, he's saying, why 16 rounds? Why not 16,000 rounds? That is the meaning of quality. Therefore, chant at least 16 rounds. When you come to chanting with quality, you will feel, why 16 rounds? Why not 16,000? Of course, that's a lot of names. And the rest of us are looking like this. There was a devotee couple that they're asked to speak on this topic during a festival. I'm hearing, I'm chanting, but barely changing. And it's probably something that fits many of us. Check this box, check that box, but the transformation of heart isn't happening the way it could be happening. And I understand it should be happening, but it's not happening. And I've been chanting for some time. Maybe some of us in the room are in that category. I'm hearing, I'm chanting, but barely changing. So this chanting with quality is a discussion how to go beyond mediocrity. Maybe that's where we are. In between beginning and advanced is somewhere in between. We call it mediocrity, or in between this and that. There's a very nice instruction. Is there a portable microphone? There's a very nice instruction from Raghunath Das Goswami called Mana Shiksha. I don't need the microphone, this is loud. Raghunath Das Goswami was one of the 6 Goswamis, and each of the 6 Goswamis were assigned by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to reside in Vrindavan, cultivate Krishna Bhakti in the mood of love of Krishna in Vrindavan, to associate with one another and write books about the process of loving Krishna in a spontaneous way. So this book, Shiksha, means instruction. Shiksha, instruction. And it's prayers to the mind or instructions to the mind how to chant with quality or how to live one's life in a quality way in Vrindavan or wherever you may live. And if your mind is in Vrindavan, you're in Vrindavan, although your body may not be in Vrindavan. So there's 2 recordings. The first of the recording is a nice devotee who is chanting the Sanskrit, which you'll see on the screen. And slowly, with that nice music in the background, he's going to recite verse number 3. And this verse number 3 is the beginning of an instruction of how to chant with quality or how to experience spontaneous devotion. Would you like to experience spontaneous devotion? Listen carefully. And then following the recitation of the Sanskrit is the English translation also recorded by the narrator's good wife. I think you'll like it.
Tachchit paricharitum aradabilashe Svarupam Shrirupam Saganamiha Tasyagrajamapi Sputam Premna Nityam Smaranamata Datvam Shrunumana.
Very simple. And very sweet translation. Here's the translation, also with a little music.
Listen, O mind. If you desire in every birth to reside in the land of Vraja with loving attachment and to serve the youthful couple of Sri Sri Radha Krishna in close proximity, then clearly remember and offer obeisances to Sri Swarup, Sri Rupa and his associates in Vrindavan, and to Sri Rupa's elder brother, Sri Sanatan.
The person who composed this verse is in this painting. He's one of the 6 Goswamis. He's the youngest of the 6 Goswamis. Raghunath Das Goswami was very young compared to the others. And there's 3 persons he's referring to. Swarup is Swarup Damodar. Now some of you have been around for a while, so if I introduce to you the fact that Swarup Damodar in Krishna Lila was Lalita. Radha had 2 principal gopi associates, Lalita and Vishaka. Lalita and Vishaka. And many, many, many millions of gopis, but two principal ones, Lalita and Vishaka. And Vishaka knew the heart of Radha. And similarly, Sarup, Damodar, knew the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because they were constant associates, and his mood was already that of Lalita Devi. And so he, Sarup Damodar, was given the responsibility of training Raghunath Das Goswami for the years that Raghunath Das Goswami lived in Puri as an associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which means that he, Raghunath Das, learned from Sarup Damodar the details and details and details of Lord Chaitanya's Leela, even if he wasn't there, and more importantly, the inner feelings, the mood, the unspoken ecstasies of Lord Chaitanya were all shared with Raghunath Das. So he got loaded up with not just information, but ecstasy, spontaneous loving ecstasy from the association that he had with Sarup Damodar. So naturally he's offering his greatest respect and obeisances to Sarup. And then he, Raghunath Das, after Lord Chaitanya's departure, went to Vrindavan and became under the care of Rupa Goswami, who trained him further and further, and his elder brother, Sanatan Goswami. So those persons just named are intimate associates of the personality of Godhead that know the inner mood of ecstasy, of love of Godhead that Lord Chaitanya felt and wanted to give to the world. So he's requesting us, or anyone who wants to intimately serve the divine couple Radha Krishna in close proximity in the spiritual world, to take their association, offer obeisances to them, and remember them. Now here's the verse again, but I'm not going to go through it again. Two of the other 6 Goswamis are pictured here. Sanatana Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Now a little history for those of you that have been around for a while. You know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas when he was just 24 years old. At his mother's request, he didn't go to Vrindavan, what he wanted to do, but she said instead, Krishna is also in Puri, so please go to Puri and make that your place of residence, because the devotees from Bengal go every year to Rath Yatra and stay there for some time and then come back, and that way I can get at least word of you, because I may never see you again. So he accepted his mother's request. He went to reside in Puri. He stayed for some months, and then he made a little excuse. He said, I have an elder brother who took sannyas when I was young. I want to look for him. He went off to South India. I want to travel in South India. All my dear devotees, please give me your blessings. He's a sannyasi, but he's asking for the blessings of the devotees. So what could they say? They said, yes, hurry back. So in the course of his travel, he came to Sri Rangam. Now many of you from India, you know where Sri Rangam is, the home of Ranganath. And when he was in Ranganath Kshetra, he was met by the chief priest of Sri Rangam. His name was Venkatabhatta. Venkatabhatta said, the rainy season has just begun, so it's not a good time for a sannyasi to travel. Kindly accept my offer. Please stay at my home for 4 months of the rainy season. So that's what happened. I visited the house. Would you like to hear what the house is like? My hair was standing on end just walking in the house. It was one of those really, really old houses where the walls are like 3.5 feet thick. Shiny black stone, very clean. There was hardly any furniture anywhere in the house, but you could feel, I could feel, I'm a dull person, I could feel something. The presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there for 4 months of the rainy season. And while he was there, while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at the house of Venkatabhatta, there was a young son, his name was Gopal, who later became Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Bhatta means learned, Gopal Bhatta. Venkatabhatta was the father, Gopal Bhatta was the son. At the end of the 4 months, Gopal made a request. I want to come with you, I want to come with you. He was very attached. And Lord Chaitanya said, no, you stay here and serve your mother and father. The time will come when they're very elderly, they give you permission. Don't come and see me. Go to Vrindavan and take shelter under Rupa and Sanatan. So that's what he did. But until he was old enough to make that journey himself, and his parents were nearing the end of their life, what did he do? He wrote. He wrote several books as a young boy, as a Brahmin boy. And one of those books, he gathered all the procedures of rituals, deity worship ritual, how to observe Janmashtami, how to observe Ekadasi, how to this, how to that, how to chant the holy name. And then when he went to Vrindavan, he brought that book and others, and he gave the book to Sanatan Goswami with 2 requests. Take all of these notes, because they weren't computers, just written notes, hand manuscript. Take this manuscript and put it in some order so it's a publishable text. One request, and the other is don't mention my name. So he did both. And the book became Hari Bhakti Vilas. So I understand they're co-authors. But some say just Sanatan Goswami. But in any case, it's a how-to manual, how to do anything, how to marry, how to anything that a Vaishnava does. It's a how-to manual for how to, according with reference to scripture. So, and there's a section that deals with chanting, and that's our topic for today's class. And I better hurry up because time keeps moving. There's 6 parts to this particular verse. Mana samharana saucham, maunam mantrartha chintanam, avya gratvam, nirvedo, japa sampati, hetavaha. Japa sampati means literally achieving perfection through practice of japa. So the title of this class is Chanting with Quality. It could be retitled Chanting with Perfection. Are you ready? There's 6 parts of this sadhana. It's the sadhana to reach the goal. And here's the first part. Mana samharanam. Subduing the mind. Good luck, Prabhus. Shaucham, cleanliness. Maunam, silence. Mantrartha chintanam, meditate on the mantra's meaning. Patience. Avyagratvam, and anirvedo, steadiness. And that's the method of achieving perfection, or abhyasa, practice in those 6. Here's some translations. Now, there are a few main authors. One is this Hari Bhakti Vilas, Shortly, we're going to see two other authors that are commenting on this verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas. You'll hear shortly. And then Patanjali Muni. So those are the four. But here's Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He wrote a book that speaks on this verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas, and he writes, to be attentive, purification of the heart is required. This means keeping silence, that is, avoiding unfavorable talking. While chanting, one must affectionately remember the meaning of the mantra. Steadiness, patience, and attachment to chanting are all treasures of chanting. That's in a book, Bhajana Rahasya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's just a paraphrase of that one verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas. And a really contemporary person is Shivaram Maharaj, who has written a book about chanting, about bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti. These are the causes of success in chanting: subduing the mind, cleanliness, avoiding unnecessary talk, remembering the meaning of the mantra, patience, and not becoming disappointed. Same six. Now, these 6 Goswamis lived in Vrindavan, and after the 6 Goswamis lived in Vrindavan, there were 2 very important acharyas in our line of disciplic succession that succeeded them. One of them was Dhyana Chandra Goswami. He wrote a book, Gora Govindarchana Smarana Padati. Padati means step by step. Step by step. How to get to constant remembrance of Gora Govinda. Archana, Smarana Padati. And notice he uses the same Sanskrit phrases because he's explaining in this book how to do what the how-to manual Hari Bhakti Vilas says about chanting. The sadhaka should not move his head and neck about, nor show his teeth. I don't know how you chant without showing your teeth. He shall sanctify his mind by withdrawing it from the objects of the senses, pondering the meaning of the mantra, and maintaining silence. So you see the Sanskrit in red. Mana samharanam, this nice activity of controlling the mind. Shaucham, cleanliness. Mauna, silence. Mantrartha chintanam, meditating on the meaning of the mantra. And then he writes this next verse. The mantra should be situated in the mind, and the mind should be situated in the mantra. The mind and the mantra should be joined together. That is the characteristic of japa. Now the verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas is how to chant with quality or chant with perfection. So these are some nice phrases. Those of you that regularly chant, maybe this one that's outlined in yellow is something that you can remember tomorrow morning when you do your japa. The mantra should be situated in the mind, and the mind situated in the mantra. Dhyana Chandra Goswami was a disciple of another great Vaishnava whose name was Gopal Guru Goswami. There's a nice story about how he got the name Gopal Guru. A little boy, and Lord Chaitanya met the little boy, and he said, chant Krishna's name. And he was silent. He said, chant Krishna's name. And he was silent. Chant Krishna, and he was silent. So his father leaned over and said, it's okay. So he chanted Krishna's name, and he said, why was the boy not chanting? Because you're not supposed to disclose your mantra. Little boy. Gopal became Gopal Guru. That was the boy's name. So his is also a padati, which means a step-by-step how-to. Harinama Mahamantra Vyakarya Smarana Padati. system of remembering the Lord. Same terms, because it's commenting on Hari Bhakti Vilas. Mantrartha Chintanam, which means meditating on the meaning and the value, because artha can mean the meaning, artha can mean the value. Just like dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Artha can mean economic development, or that which is to be gained by doing something, artha. So what's the value? Because if you see something that's valuable, then you look up, because you value it. Adara is the word in Sanskrit. Adara. Those of you that like reading Prabhupada's books, you probably know in Nectar of Instruction, text number 7, that word adarat is used by Rupa Goswami in describing how to chant with quality. And one of those 2 principles, he says, is adarat, that you chant with respect, because you value what the holy name can do, and that which you respect and look up to, you pay attention to. If you're a cultured person, that's what you do. If you're an envious person, you do something else. So, Gopal Guru was a Diksha disciple of Vikreshwara Pandit, who was a very dear devotee of Lord Chaitanya. Vikreshwara Pandit is especially known in Chaitanya Charitamrita for his dancing. He could dance, not only could, he regularly danced in ecstasy for 24 hours. And Kirtan would go and he'd dance and jump in the air, and not just for a little while. But in addition to his dancing, he was very learned. And his very learnedness was passed on to Gopal Guru, who became his disciple, and then wrote a book on how to, Vyakarana, on how to always remember the personality of Godhead through chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Specifically, it's right in the book. Hari Nama Mahamantra Vyakarana, Vyakya. So here's what he writes. This is a translation of his writing. The meaning of each of the 3 names. Very nice. Hare, we know Hare means Radha. Here's how he writes. The personality of Godhead, who has a form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, has manifested himself in the form of his name, because he takes away ignorance and its activities. The devotees remember him as Hari. Sri Radha, who is the Lord's own pleasure potency, steals the mind of Krishna. She is therefore praised as Hara. Hara steals the mind of Hari, therefore Hara. And the vocative, it becomes Hare. That's his explanation. And then the meaning of Krishna. Very interesting, very interesting. Sri Krishna is the eternal beloved of Radha, who is bliss personified. The beautiful dark son of Nanda, with eyes like lotus petals, is the only source of bliss for the residents of Gokula. He is therefore known as Krishna. Therefore, the name Hare and Krishna mean Radha and Krishna are full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Now, Prabhupada has other explanations, and other explanations are just fine, but that's Gopal Guru's description. What's encouraged here is that as you're chanting the names of the Mahamantra, you meditate on the meaning. And it's not like you have divided attention, it's just something by practice and practice and practice. It's like riding a bicycle or driving a car or using your keyboard on your computer or playing a piano, just practice and practice, or playing mridanga. It's no longer just practice, it's just built in. It's inside. But it comes from meditating on the meaning. And here's a very interesting meaning of Rama. that Sri Krishna, who is the chief amongst those expert in loving affairs and the worshipable deity of amorous pastimes, always enjoys Radha. He is therefore called Rama. Radha Ramana Rama. Charming. Those of you that like reading Prabhupada's books, you've come across a section in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila chapter 5, where there's some discussion, some disagreement. Some people say Rama means Balarama. Others say Rama means Ramachandra. And there's a discussion. They're both right. Because there's no difference between Balarama and Lord Rama. That's a simple rendering of a nice long purport. So now we have three meanings of Rama. Here's Srila Prabhupada's very, very, very simplified, taking what these acharyas have written and keeping it for us simple folks. My dear Radha, my dear Krishna, please engage me in your service. And along with that prayer, there's a mood. And if you see this little thing over here, there's an audio clip that's embedded. And it's Prabhupada describing the mood with which one should chant Krishna's name. Oh, please work.
The real thing is bhakti. What you can offer to Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna. What you have got, what is your value? And what is the value of your things? It is nothing. Therefore, the real thing is bhaktya. Real thing is your feeling. Krishna, kindly take it. I have no qualification. I am most rotten fallen. But I have brought this thing for you. Please take. This will be accepted. Don't be perturbed. Always be careful. You are dealing with Krishna. That is my request. Thank you very much.
May be very appropriate for our function this evening, the Chappan Bhog. How many families made how many preparations, and I'm sure you spent some devoted time. Please don't get puffed up. The leaders and the pujaris and the cooks and it's just a humble offering of what is already Krishna's. So with bhakti, with feeling, please accept our offering. Now, Gopal Guru also addresses the question, what's the value of the mantra? Mantra artha, chintanam, meditating on the value. There are different ways of meditating on the value. Here's one. Rupa Goswami, you mentioned Rupa Goswami already, he compiled a book, an Ashtaka, 8 prayers in glorifying the holy name. And here's one from his writing. The holy name is worshipped by liberated souls as even namabhasa destroys all types of miseries. What's namabhas? Namabhas means shadow or reflection. There's Shutanam and there's namabhas. Just even the shadow or reflection of the name has the power to annihilate all types of miseries. Prarabdha karma is wiped out by chanting namabhas. So what to speak of chanting with devotion? The verse, he has this anadarat, I mentioned already. Rupa Goswami's writing in Nectar of Instruction, text number 7. He speaks of the way to chant is with adara, adarat. Here it's anadarat, it's the negative. if someone utters you, even with negligence, adarat, you destroy his severe material miseries. This is your mighty power. This is an impetus to value the mantra. There's another book that Rupa Goswami wrote or compiled. It's a compilation of padyas. Padyavali is a compilation of padyas. That's sayings or writings and glorifying different topics. So I selected 3 from the section dealing with the name. Author unknown. Extracting the 4 syllables that are the heart of the 4 Vedas, Lord Hari makes the word Narayana 4 syllables. Day and night, chanting this name, we become purified. We do not know any other better way to please Lord Hari. The next verse is Ishwara Puri. Who is Ishwara Puri? Ishwara Puri is the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he writes, let the twice-born enter the fearless kingdom of yoga, Vedic study, and solitary meditation in the forest. Let them become liberated in that way. As for us, we will spend hundreds of thousands of births chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, whose splendid dark complexion and yellow garments are like a host of blue lotus flowers, blooming in a grove of yellow, flower-bearing kadamba trees. In other words, not aspiring for liberation. Those that want liberation and achieve liberation, fantastic. Let them go for liberation. As far as we are concerned, we just want to associate with Krishna through the chanting of his holy name for hundreds and thousands of births. Another very nice reference. This is author unknown. May Krishna's holy name, which is a reservoir of all transcendental happiness, the destruction of Kali Yuga sins, the most purifying of all purifying things, the saintly person's food as he quickly traverses the path to the spiritual world, the pleasure garden where the voices of the greatest saints, philosophers, and poets play, the life of the righteous and the seed of the tree of religion bring transcendental auspiciousness to you all. So it's a benediction for everybody. May you all be blessed with this wonderful benefit. Now I'm looking at the clock, and the clock says I'm supposed to end, but I'm not done. So with your permission, I'll try to finish quickly, but I'll continue beyond the bell ringing. Is that all right? I didn't hear too many noises. Okay, there we go. I hope our authorities are saying the same thing. Because the Chappan, Bhog, and all of that. So, the final section is, there are 5 principles that are taught by Patanjali, that little murti there at the top. That's Patanjali Muni. Patanjali Muni lived long before Lord Chaitanya, long before the 6 Goswamis, around the 2nd century AD, so very long ago. And he was the authority on yoga. So he wrote Patanjali Yoga Sutras. He has a whole school of thought on how to, and there's 5 principles. And you'll notice, please notice, it's the same Sanskrit that was used in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Here's the first one. Mana Samharanam. Look at that, same phrase. That is to say, what Gopal Bhatta Goswami compiled in his manuscript and Sanatana Goswami kept, he didn't pull it out of the air. Our authorities are consulting. Should I carry on or should I end?
More questions?
No, there's no questions. I'm not doing questions. I'm doing Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Some teachings, not questions. If you want me to end, I can end. Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay. So here's how to... Bhatrihari. Some of you know who Bhatrihari is. He was a predecessor of Rupa Goswami, who taught the science of rasa. Bhatrihari taught the science of rasa. Many of the teachings of Bhatrihari found their way into Rupa Goswami's writings with some modification. So he writes, the mind is like a monkey. Not only a monkey, but a drunken monkey. Not only a drunken monkey, but a drunken monkey stung by a scorpion. And not only a drunken monkey stung by a scorpion, but possessed by a ghost. Very, very difficult to control the mind. This is from his book, Subhashitas, Words of Wisdom. So, Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita we should bring the mind back. There's the verse. Because of time, I'm not going to read the verse to you. From whatever and wherever the mind wanders, bring it back. That's mantra samharanam, controlling the mind. Then shocham. Notice, that's one of the 6 items found in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Remember? It's cleanliness. There's the external cleanliness, there's the internal cleanliness, and it's even a greater challenge, the internal cleanliness. The painting is Gundicha Marjana, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, the day before Rath Yatra, they go and clean the Gundicha temple because that's where Jagannath is going to go, because you make the place nice and clean. They cleaned it twice, so it's inviting for Lord Chaitanya, for Jagannath to sit. Similarly, make the heart clean, cleanliness. Next, Monam. Hey, that one's also and same phrase in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Note. Krishna writes, of secret things I am silence. So the explanation is, silence doesn't mean, it can mean literally say nothing, make no sound. But speak only Bhagavad Gita, that's also silence. And reject unrelated, that's Mona. Here's a classic violation of Mona. He's got his bead bag on his hand, but he's got something else in his other hand. Now, are you one of those people that does that? If you are, this is a warning. Don't do that. While chanting, your business is chanting. Your business is not texting and chanting. Okay. Avyagratvam. Be very patient. Don't be hasty. Here's a nice story from Shrutakirti. Shrutakirti was one of Prabhupada's servants. One day, I was sitting in his sitting room in New Dwarka, Los Angeles, cleaning around his desk. He was sitting behind the desk chanting japa. As he pulled down the counterbeat, he looked at me with a beautiful smile and said humorously, "There, I've finished my 16 rounds. Now I can do any damn thing I want." That's not what we're supposed to do. The restless nature of the unsteady mind is called vyagrata, and this is its opposite. Don't be hasty or unsteady. Be very peaceful and undisturbed, and it may take some time, so remain steady. And that's also in Rupa Goswami's writings. It's also in Patanjali Muni's writings. You stay with it. One should not become discouraged by moving slowly in this endeavor to attain the desired goal. Rather, one should chant with patience. Who knows the verse in Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamrita, or Nectar of Instruction, that says this? There's 6 principles that help. Yoshahita Dira. Dira. Remain patient. If the result doesn't come right away, what do you do? If you're impatient, you get restless. A devotee was sharing with me, it's when he looks at his bead bag and starts to chant, he's already restless. Anyway, so that's a little presentation. Summary, this is the last slide. Yay, last slide. There's the 6. We'll go backwards. Subduing the mind, mana samharanam, shaucham, purity or cleanliness, maunam, silence, mantrartha chintanam, meditating on the mantra's meaning and value, avyagratvam, non-haste, and anirveda, non-dejection. So that's chanting with quality. We have a roadmap, and it's from our Vedic authorities. They're already successful, and they're giving us their hand to go to the place of success in quality chanting. So take their hand, take their instructions.